Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? You're very welcome back today with the Cult of Cantona. A very exciting period is upon us now. We seem to be. I'm very disappointed that in the last 24 hours we haven't signed a player. So hope everybody's enjoying this kind of new wave of enthusiasm and optimism in and around the club and the backroom staff and the upper echelons of Old Trafford. It's really exciting. I'm joined today, as always, by Dec McDonagh, Pauly O Bryan, Jamie Griffin, and myself, Paul Butler-Lennox. First of all, how are the lads doing?
Great.
Good. Yeah. Can't
Great.
complain.
Well. Enjoying the summer transfer window so far.
Yeah,
it's been great so far. Lots and lots to talk about. First, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping and promote some great work being done by the lads at Legends 11. And they've two really cool events coming up on the 27th of July. There's a meet and greet, and then there's a match, and then, of course, a gala dinner in the Mount Errigal Hotel, and it's on the 27th of July up in Donegal. It promises to be a great day for everyone to meet kind of some of their childhood heroes. Yap Stam, Paul Parker will be there, Brian McClare, and that's on Saturday the 27th. Legends 11 do great work helping grassroots football, so that's going to be a great event coming up. Equally as well, the Legends 11 will be at Ballyfermot United, in conjunction with the Ballyfermot Supporters Man United Club Supporters Club on the 3rd of August, which is the following weekend. Both events over the course of those 2 weekends promise to be a lot of fun. The Ballyfermot event will have some really cool guests as well, and guest speakers including Owen Colgan from the Hardy Books. I think Darren Conway will be there, comedian. Tig and his dad will be there as well, and it promises to be a great evening of comedy and a great opportunity to raise funds for grassroots football and for Ballyfermot United as well. But back to business. So we haven't really spoke an awful lot since the FA Cup final. I suppose we should kind of touch base on what that means, what that match means and what it did in terms of our confidence going forward. And did it show that Erik ten Hag is the man to be trusted, moving this ship in the right direction? I'm not entirely happy that they were looking for someone else, but what it does, I suppose, shows that there was due diligence done by the club, and they decided he was the best man for the job because they could have hired anybody else, I suppose. Who wants to take that one?
I think that match summed up our season in a nutshell. We definitely deserved to win it. We played 10 times better than we have all season. We took the game to City and showed what United can do when they actually put in a performance. It was an epic game. It was an epic result. Winning the FA Cup, knocking Newcastle out of Europe altogether, and sending Chelsea off the conference just a cherry on top of the cake. It was brilliant. And I shut up a lot of the doubters. Look, come here, we're United and everyone's going to take a pop off us. They want to. And it was great to ram it down their throats, and Eric walking off with another trophy. It's great to be a United fan.
Yeah, it was a great day. I missed it, but I watched the whole match in its entirety at 10 o'clock that night, not knowing the result. And I was, because I was working, I couldn't get out of something that I was working on. And I've never been prouder to be a United fan. It was electric. You know, they just didn't see us coming. And that's the first time any of the top four were just obliterated by us in the last, 4 or 5 years. It was great to see.
Yeah, I think it showed there's another level in that team that we didn't see throughout the season, and they really changed gear and went for it, and it was great to see. They're fighting them, and with any new additions coming in, that can only get better.
Yeah, 100%.
On top of it as well, to have Kobe Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho on the scoreline as well really solidified what we were about on the day and the future of the club and how it's looking. Two amazing young players.
Yeah, the future is bright. So I suppose we should look at who we've kind of bought, who were like, for the first time in maybe 15 or 20 years, the top prospects in world football seem to be interested in signing for us again, which is wonderful to see. You know, Leny Yaro being, as I understand, the kind of Varane that we never got in 2011 when Fergie was going from. So I think that he is, and I watched him in the first half yesterday. There was a confidence. What is it? They're already nicknaming him the young Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
So he has that kind of Ferdinand coming out from the back kind of confidence, and he's
Phil Jones had that title once upon a time. He legit did. That was what Ferguson referred to him as. Philip Jones is the Rolls Royce of defenders, and he will probably go down as one of the greatest players to ever play for Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, well, you can't get them all right.
He went from a Lada very quick.
Say again?
He went from a Rolls Royce to a Lada very quick.
Yeah, he really did. I remember him at Blackburn Rovers, and he was going to be a prospect we were signing, and I was like in awe. It's like, I can't believe we're getting this kid, because he was sensational, and the wheels just fell off. Like, he was just the weakest player we ever got.
Yeah, I have to say that it says a lot about where United are potentially going if Real Madrid were in for him. Now, look, that's not to say that he won't go in 3 or 4 years, and why wouldn't he? Of course, he'll still only be 23 when his contract's up, which is bananas to think. He looked really, really good on the ball. He looked like he'd been playing for United for 20 years. He was taking it off on Onana, no problem. Sweeping it across, sending it downfield. Like, he is that new version of a centre back that Ten Hag always wanted. You know, now he has his keeper that plays out from the back. He has 2 centre backs that play out from the back, and he has his wing backs as well when fit. And I think Amas looked decent when he came on against Rangers as well yesterday. So he's good backup for Luke Shaw, who inevitably will be fucking injured at some point next season. Just to come in and a bit of cover, and if Malacia ever gets his act together. How do we feel about Xerxes?
I think we have to be excited. I think the most important thing is United are selling the plan to these players. So we have young players coming in, and it's only building for the future. I think it's great to see, because I mean we all remember the last few years, our transfer windows were bloody dreadful. You know, we couldn't get one signing over line, let alone a few. So we have a team in place now at the moment that know what they're doing. They're football men. Glazers are out of the picture in transfers. Get rid of them. And they're just going getting players that are young, hungry, and believe in the plan that Erik ten Hag has. And I think I've been Erik ten Hag in since the start. I think he is the man to bring us forward. We have to get behind him. The club need to get behind him and believe in him, because I actually think he can bring us back to the top of the Premier League. And signings like Xerxes and all these young players, they're going to come in beside Mainu, Garnacho, and we've got a young team now going forward, but it's a team that can bring us fruition for years to come, I believe, anyway.
Yeah, I think we're closer to what we've wanted to be for a long time now. And if we get cover in a couple of more positions, I think that, but there's a couple of, I wouldn't even say red flags, and we spoke about this in the studio episode a few days ago. But I'm still not 100% on Sancho coming back. Number one, like you can see by virtue of his social media activity a couple of months ago that he didn't think he was coming back himself. Have United taken him back to get his valuation back up again, up until Christmas, and try and offload him then? Or is all rosy in the garden? I mean, he started yesterday, which is a good sign, I suppose. I'm still concerned about, like, even when he was playing well or relatively well for Dortmund, one swallow doesn't make a summer, So is he good enough to start over anybody else in what would be a very young forward-facing team? He didn't look like, not to say that he looked unfit, but he certainly didn't look as fit as some of the other wingers, some of the young lads coming through, Garnacho being the whippet that he is. Sancho seems to be carrying, I would say, a little bit more mass. I'm not saying he's overweight, but if he wants to, challenge, even Antony would be, in my opinion, a good bit fitter than Sancho. Or will he lose that in the next 3 to 4 weeks?
I think where do you play him? Because you've got Rashford as well and Garnacho, and you've got Ahmad if he's fit. So where do you play? He doesn't like playing on the right. He was complaining about an awful lot. He wanted to play on the left, and that was it. But you've got Rashford and Garnacho ahead of him, so there could be a bit of a fallout there. And I think you are right. They're bringing him back in and sort of putting a band-aid almost over their arguments, so they can try and sell him in January or maybe even next summer to make a bigger profit than they or make a smaller loss on him than they thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that he's a talented lad. It's just his head seems to be elsewhere sometimes. I mean, he seemed to, like, every second social media post is about how much he's in love with a teammate from Borussia Dortmund, even this week. So it's like, fair enough. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. Why come back? I think it says a lot. Someone said the other day about him, and I think it's fairly valid, if Erik ten Hag can forgive him, why can't we?
I think we as supporters expect more from players that get the opportunity to play for our club. Yeah. He has shown the respect to the club, to the fans. So I don't think we have to forgive him. He didn't turn up for training. He didn't put in a performance that would indicate that he was interested. And then for the spat that he had with Eric, I think supporters just went, you know what, if he's like that, he can just off you go. I think he's back to get his valuation up. I don't think Ten Hag honestly could forgive the way he treated his teammates and the club. So I just think he's back to get his price up and he'll be gone, and rightly so.
Paul, what's your position on Sancho?
Another factor that we haven't really thought about, and in terms of the backroom staff and Sancho, Ratcliffe has always made it quite clear that he's a big fan of Sancho. Now, I'm wondering if the new CEO coming in, the director being Will Cox and Ashford, have all been part and parcel to this, making amends of what's going on between Erik ten Hag and Sancho. If it's let's sit down and actually have a proper conversation here. Do you want to be part of this club or not? I'm willing to let Sancho earn my forgiveness and become a great player at Man United. Scoring that goal against Liverpool when he did, I was a huge fan. I didn't want that bust up to happen, but even as you said, his social media platform is still just full of Borussia Dortmund. He has nothing to do with Manchester United. It could well be a shop window that we're giving him. He has put on a bit of weight, which he shouldn't have, because he was playing all season right up into the Champions League final. So he looks a bit out of shape. He was a little bit off the pace yesterday. But I mean, if I see him in a match day lineup, I would have liked to see either him score yesterday and see Erik ten Hag's reaction to it, or see the substitution being made where if they acknowledge each other, walk off the park. We had a situation a couple of years ago with Juan Mata and Jose Mourinho. Mourinho had sold Mata, and we were wondering what's the scenario going to be. And then a pre-season friendly, he was subbed off and come on, and he embraced Mourinho, and that was an immediate, all right, there is no rift here. We now know pre-season, this seems good, everything's fine and in order. I would have liked a little bit of interaction between the two of them yesterday. But I'm willing to give him the chance, and I'd like him to succeed. I think he is a quality player when he's on it, and having him in our squad is better than not having him in the squad. And I rate him over Rashford as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rashford's a big question mark as well. His behaviour last season, I mentioned this quite recently as well. I was at the away Brighton game, and he was the only player that didn't come down and applaud the fans, which to me, and he was crying during that period before he went off, which to me says that there was maybe a move on the cards for him at that point, and yet he's still at United. Maybe he went off and he thought about it over the summer and realized, like, he does love the club. That's evident. That's self-evident, and and we know what he's capable of because he did it for a whole season. So maybe if he does stay around, the pressure will be off him because we're not dependent solely on him the way we have been, him and Rasmus last season. and maybe he can slowly gather his form back. So for me, you know, I was a bit annoyed about that as somebody who spent quite a lot of money to go over and see my team play, you know. So do we want like if Rashford, this is the thing, if Rashford is the last remaining piece of the dancing quartet, you know, which caused so many problems over the last couple of years before they moved on. Question is, do we want Rashford there kind of saying, you know, well, the way things used to be, to young lads coming through, the way things used to be, we used to rule the dressing room. We could dance around the dressing room, do what we wanted. We could call the shots. And that's not the way it used to be around here. Now, you know, is he going to pour poison in the young lads' ears about, you know, his idea or version of what Manchester United should be? Or is he better served somewhere else? Personally, I and I've said this in a couple of podcasts in the past, that I believe that he would be better served going to a PSG and doing really well. I'd even want him to win the European Cup with them, because we're not in it this year, you know, and to be on fire again. What's Dec, how do you feel about Rashford in general now?
I suppose last season we expected more from him from the previous season. I mean, he's a quality player, but he just didn't seem interested last season, and we don't want that type of player around the club. We've had them, we've got rid of them, we don't need them. I thought he'd actually move this summer. I thought a move was on the cards. Look, an on-fire Rashford is going to be a bonus to any team, you know, but we need, if he's not buying into Eric's plans going forward, then he needs to leave. The thing is, he's not going to, Pogba's gone, Lingard's gone. They're the ones I regarded as poison in the dressing room. That culture is gone from the club, thankfully, and we don't want that back. So if he's not buying into Eric's plans, he's going to be gone, you know. So on fire Rashford, I'd take in a heartbeat, but what we got last season just wasn't good enough, and he didn't deserve to go to the Euros. People were giving out that he wasn't there. His performances didn't warrant him getting a place on United, let alone the England team. So if he doesn't change his ideas, he'll be gone, I think.
Yeah, I did. There was a part of me watching the final, and I was like, Rashford might have done something in that game if he came on. But anyway, say la vie. Personally, like, this is a thing I think that we might have been given out about a bit last year. It was too many Dutch players coming in, and it being solely Dutch. But looking at it even from that perspective, Xerxes coming in, Hake and Van Nistelrooy, which we're all delighted about him coming back, because he bleeds red, as we've mentioned before. And personally, like, I'm biased because I've Dutch family, so, and I've always been a huge supporter of the Dutch league and Dutch footballers in general.
You were Spanish last week.
Jesus, look, I'll fly any flag if there's a few bobbing it. But Xerxes, like, his return was similar to Highlands last year, so I think, like, ultimately it's about having backup in every single position, which is what I think they're trying to do, so that we've two starting 11s that are good enough to start any Premier League match, which I think we're getting close to. Xerxes, for me, if you've seen any footage of him, he is, certainly he's still relatively young, but he's definitely one that's going to kick on him. And before his prime, I think, as he enters his prime now in the next 3 to 4 years, he could be a really, really big star. I was a little bit worried that he might be a bit more of a Pierre van Hooijdonk than a Dennis Bergkamp. But from what I'm hearing, especially in Holland, he's very highly rated in terms of what he's going to become as well. And he's
sounded like a diss at Pierre van Hooijdonk, who was one of the most prolific strikers in any league he played. I actually think he outscored Dennis Bergkamp as well.
In Scotland, yeah. Anyway, sure, I'd score.
With Xerxes there, so I you know me, Paul. I know a fair amount of young players, and obviously we all knew Ben Sesko, and we heard bits of Rasmus. I never heard anything of Xerxes. I don't know the boy at all. So him coming into United, I've no real opinion of him other than hope, and I hope that he's great. And it's great to have Leny Yaro in as well because he's very highly rated. But as of yet, we haven't done the business that we really need to do. Matthias de Ligt's the guy that we want in centre back, and Ugarte is the centre midfielder we want. They're the high profile, really, really solid. They're your Ineos rubber stamped players. A young lad, Leny Yaro, big money, highly rated. Xerxes, never heard of him, but we're hopeful. Right, we need to get these two big deals over the line because then that's our transfer business done. And if we land Matthias de Ligt, we're laughing. He is absolutely quality. He is to us what Frankie de Jong was 2 years ago. I'm worried that deal has kind of gone quiet and it seems to be one or the other. But hopefully Lindelof goes out. But my level of excitement is palpable, but it's not quite explosive until I'm going to see De Ligt and Ugarte hold that jersey and there's a few more people going out. If we were really, really chasing a striker, it would have been lovely to get Ben Sesko, but I think you would have taken away from Rasmus Højlund. The thing what you're saying about Xerxes being like the young Ronaldinho, that will add to Rasmus Højlund's game. I don't think it's going to be a case of one or the other. I think it might be playing them both together, and I'd love to see that as well. But they're the two. I'd love to get those transfers over the line because that's our business done. Ugarte and De Ligt. And there's talk of Simmons coming in as well.
Yeah, I was going to
I
bring that
don't
up.
know exactly how he would figure into our plans because he'd be taken away from potentially Kobe Mainu, or I don't know where he fits. Be great to get a signing of that quality. He had a bit of a hit and miss tournament, but he's highly rated. But is he part of the Ineos plans, Xavi Simmons, or is that just media
I
talk?
wouldn't say so. I mean, we're talking about a player who was on Barca's books when Barca were in a bit of a bind, and he didn't set the world on fire there. You know, now I know it'd be hard for anyone to play well during the last couple of seasons with Barca because the behind the scenes is in absolute turmoil behind the scenes, understandably. Apart from that wonderful goal he scored in the semi against England, he's relatively small, I think. So I don't think a physical game of in the middle would suit him in the same way. 6'1", 6'2", Kobe plays. So I can't see him replacing him. Is he again? Like, this is the thing. I think every player coming into the United squad now will realize that it's going to be rotated heavily, and the only players that are really going to start are, Garnacho, Højlund, and Kobe. Now everyone else is in to supplement, that trio, because it's very clear that they're the backbone of what they're the Rooney, Tevez, and Ronaldo of what we're trying to build going forward. In terms of De Ligt, I think he's a really great player. I'm well familiar with him. It didn't really click for him at Juventus, but that doesn't mean that he's not good. Bayern Munich, 60,000 fans signed a petition to try and hold on to him. So that tells you how he's rated in Munich. What about Antony? Is he may go out on loan? I'm hearing. Should we persevere with him?
I think the emergence, or what's looking like the emergence of Diallo, might be a problem for Antony, but a great solution for us. Let us not forget that Diallo has not come through our youth system, that we have paid crazy money for him, almost 40 million. So if he's going to get into the squad, now is the time. But he's doing that thing that Arjen Robben always did, out there, and you know what he's going to do. And just because you know what he's going to do, you can't quite stop it. And he did it on the left against Liverpool when he scored that goal. Yeah. So we kind of have had inconsistencies where we've had rubbish players like Daniel James. Oh, he's really fast. Daniel James is really fast. Well, what use is your speed if you can't even get into the Leeds team now? And Mason Greenwood was an absolute killer in the box. Absolute killer. Goal machine. Put him out into the right side of the pitch, and it's a minor adjustment. Just Mason play out there on the right. No sign of him. He goes missing, But Diallo now seems to be with it in the few games that I've seen him play. So I think that could potentially spell the end for Antony, depending on what's going to happen with Sancho and Rashford now as well.
I definitely think Diallo's going to have a great season. It's like a new signing getting him back. And he's streets ahead of Antony. I mean, poor old Antony is like Diallo if you ordered him off Wish, you know. I know they're saying persevere with him, but God, he's been woeful. Like, everyone knows what he's going to do. He's got one leg. I mean, that's it. And I think Diallo starts ahead of him every time.
Yeah, Diallo surprises. Like he's a much more he's a much better all round footballer. He's just clearly a better street footballer.
Yeah.
Like Antony, again, he's that one trick. He's a one trick pony, and he frustrates me. Frustrates me because Ian Robin Kanchelskis had something very similar. You know, where Kanchelskis had that thing years ago where he'd go down and then he'd cut in and then he'd shoot across the goal, and it always worked. But it's
just
grand
because
if
you know the trick doesn't mean you can stop the trick. And
exactly,
that's
and everybody can stop Antony.
Read Robin, you're going to have a strategic meeting before the game, strategy. Robin's going to go down there, he's going to cut inside, be aware. He made Patrice ever look like an idiot 3 times in a night. Like,
yeah.
Moving on to some other pressing issues. Johnny Evans, how do we feel about Johnny Evans signing a new contract? Before you answer that, Andy Mitten was in Rosenborg and he was doing an event with Brian Robson and he asked the whole crowd, put your hand up if you're happy that Johnny Evans signed a new year's contract, and 1,000 people put their hands in the air. So answer at will there, Pauly O Bryan.
All right. So I'll give you my rundown of Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans, a great lad. Been a great servant to the club. Absolutely. Don't have any disliking towards Johnny Evans at all. What I do have is an issue with the situation. People have given Johnny Evans praise because he stepped up and he's played consistently all of last season and he's represented Man United again in the second spell. Johnny Evans should have never been afforded the opportunity to do so. He should have never been in that position. We signed Paul McShane the year before in a similar capacity to play with the youths to get his coaching badges. Tom Huddleston, another player who I believe still represents Manchester United in that capacity. That's what Johnny Evans was brought in to do. And we got an injury crisis. The correct decision at the time was to not sell Mengi to Luton and promote the youth and see how he's got on. And he's turned into a fantastic player. Johnny Evans has no business now or then playing for Manchester United. And it's a sign of the times. What are we doing? What is Ineos doing? Renewing the contract of a 36-year-old player whose legs are gone, who has no business playing. It's crazy. And to give the man praise doesn't make sense. He should not be playing for Manchester United. A 36-year-old going 37, Johnny Evans, 2 times relegated, who wasn't good enough under Ferguson to play for Man United, is now back in the Man United forefront. Shouldn't be the case. And I think people are mistaking nostalgia with backups. Well, he's good backup. Oh, he was under the Ferguson reign. Great. Go home, Johnny Evans. Finish out your career. You shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. It's crazy. And the praise that he's getting is lost on me. I hate Johnny Evans.
I noticed. I think he's...
I did very well, though.
Yeah, sorry, Dec, go ahead.
Or did he play? Did he play to a standard that we have now come to accept as reasonable as Manchester United fans? It's like Harry Maguire getting all the praise in the world because he wasn't making mistakes. He's doing the fundamental basic things that a defender's supposed to do, and all of a sudden he's winning Player of the Month award for Manchester United. He didn't do anything outstanding. He didn't do anything particularly well. He wasn't a match winner. What he did was take the ball, didn't miss a pass, and the Man United fans are so Johnny Evans, that account is doing well. But is he?
I'd go along with you there because you made a very good point there about Harry Maguire. It's like everyone shouldn't be heaping praise on Harry Maguire for playing like a regular, consistent centre back, which is what he did when he came back in. You know, you're dead right. However, Johnny Pirlo Evans, as I like to refer to him as, is. I think. Look, you're dead right. A player of that age shouldn't be playing for Manchester United at the highest level. He shouldn't, theoretically. I will say this, though. I think he's the last remnant of a Fergie inspired Manchester United, and I think they need that on some level. Whether or not he's going to start many games next season, I don't think he will. I think he'll play in the Carling Cup the odd game and he'll step in. And I think he will, like Darren Fletcher. I think he's gonna nestle back into the backroom staff towards the end of the season. Or if he gets an injury himself, he'll just go straight in. He's probably doing his badges as well, I'd say, if he hasn't already. And I'd say there's a good chance he'll do that Paul McShane thing. As you said, or that Tom Hiddleston thing. Looking forward to the start of the season. We, or a couple of us at least, will be going over for the first home game and obviously subsequent other games. And we're really excited about that. What are your hopes for the new season overall? Let's start with you, Jamie. Realistically, where do you think we'll be? I'm not going to. Well, yeah, why not? Fuck it for the laugh. Where do you think United are going to finish in the league, and how do you think we're going to end up overall this year?
Well, with the new signings, it depends on the outgoings as well. But like, we should be challenging. You don't spend that kind of money trying to bring in, and then all the quality we're bringing in as well to sort of finish 5th or 6th. We need to challenge. So I need in the top 3. I'd be happy if we finish second. I'd be furious if we didn't win it. But somewhere up there in the top 3 have to be up there. Champions League football for next season, and not by winning the Europa League, but by finishing in a good place and playing well as well. Not the crap we're used to seeing last season anyway. So yeah, top 3.
Yeah, consistency. Just a little bit more consistency overall. I mean, I don't think me personally, I don't think we're going to win the league. If we get top 4 and if we win the Europa League, maybe another cup is progress based on what we've seen over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And back into the Champions League, which we all enjoy. I hate Thursday nights. Who likes going out for a pint on a Thursday night? Dec, where are you with all that?
I'll go out any night for a pint. It doesn't really bother me. So Thursday. Well, any day that ends in the word day, I will be there for a pint. I can't wait to see. I'm going. I'll definitely be at some Europa matches as well. I don't need any excuse to go to Manchester. I definitely think fuck it. Go for the league. We're going to challenge. Top 3 for me. I think he needs another cup to be seen as progress. Keep it going. We want to win something every season. I think United are on the way back, lads, being honest. These signings show that we have a team in place. They don't want to be finishing 2nd or 3rd. They want 1st. That's it. Sir Jim Radcliffe wants United to be back on top of the Premier League. Mightn't be this season, but it's going to be in the next 2 or 3. Definitely. I think we're building for the future, and I, for one, can't wait. Look, I've followed United. I'm going over there the last 40 years. Yes, I am that old. The last 40 years, I've seen great times, brutal times, but I can see what's happening at United now, and it's definitely building for the future. So, yeah, looking forward to it. I'll be at the Spurs game as my first game this season, travelling over with 40 other Reds. So I'll be drinking that night and day.
Absolutely. So you're saying, so I'm going to hold you to task now. You saying that you think we won the league this year?
I have put a bet on 25-1. I have put €20 on it. Okay. I'm going all in on United winning the league this season. And Xerxes and Highland, I'm telling you, they're going to be our York and Cole. I'm telling you, they're going to take off. That's my prediction for the season. I know I haven't drank today.
Very good. No, I admire your optimism. I said something stupid last season like that, saying that we were going to win the Champions League, and look what happened. Pauly, where are you?
So my wish is exactly like Dec, and I'm going to share that wish with you. But what I will accept and what I will deem a successful season is, 1, do not concede 4 goals to anybody at any point. Crystal Palace took 4 on us. West Ham took 4 on us. I think Liverpool put 4 past us. No conceding 4 goals to anybody under any game. I think, and forgive my lack of optimism, but it has to be realistic. I think we're going to finish 5th, and I think it's going to be close between us and 4th. I think it's going to be competitive, but I think 5th, and I think that'll still be progress. It's a season full of new players gelling together. There are still players to be moved out, and the Ineos reign has just begun. I absolutely agree that they have come in here to win the league, but these things take time. I think that we're going to have a good season, but realistically, we're going to lose a couple of games. And if we can finish 5th, but are competitive in almost getting into the Champions League, if we lose out by 2 points, I'll accept that. A domestic trophy as well, though, or a European trophy is a must for Erik ten Hag, who I'm a big fan of, to keep his place at Man United. But I'm hopeful. But that's what I think, we're going to be 5th and at least competitive.
Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to take missing out on Champions League again. Personally, I think we will be top 4, but I'd like to see us challenge. But I don't think we'll win the league. But if we win a Europa League, I think it's enough to keep us moving forward. I think it's enough to Champions League football is enough to, if there are players that are still undecided about whether or not they should come and join United. As happy as I am with the transfers, and it looks like Ugarte is going to happen in the next day or two, I'm hearing, and that's good. So, more of a holding strong shithousing midfielder in there, just to, because Casemiro won't start as much as he did last year. So that's positive. But for me, Europa League I'd be really happy with, and top 4. And I'm not too pushed about anything else. But who knows? Maybe like a soft cup treble, like Liverpool's shitey treble in 2001, and maybe a wine.
I'd love a soft cup treble.
So just a quick thing as well. We are really excited to be working alongside a brilliant company called xpro.ie, who do really cool bespoke sportswear. For all different types of sports, basketball, football, rugby, etc. And they do bespoke, individually designed pieces for clubs, 5-a-side teams, football teams, and they've designed something really cool for us, which we're really excited about, which I'll show you here. So we have, which will be put on sale very soon, official jerseys, which we're really excited about, that we will be wearing and nothing else at the Ballyfair. No, Dec's not going naked again, not after the last trip to United, which we're really excited about. It's a bit of fun. So we're going to make those available to purchase in the near future. It'll be on our website, and you can get them through xpro.ie. So a massive thanks to Mick for helping us out and supporting the show. It's a really, really cool design, and it's designed with kind of our ethos in mind, and the kind of Cantona inspired ethos that we have here. It's really cool, and there's you can spot all the little Easter eggs on the jersey as well, which we think are a bit of fun. So that'll be available on the website and on social media in the next week or two. So if you want to support the show, when that happens, you can get one of those jerseys, and all the proceeds of that go to supporting the show, helping us buy software, helping us keep the lights on, and covering expenses for our trips to interview players, ex-players, and so on. Also, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Cult of Cantona. Buy us a coffee, and if you see us at matches and out and about, sure, we'll buy you a coffee or a pint back. My thanks go to Dec, Paul, and Jamie. Thanks for listening in. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, so you can watch us there. Adios, Josies. See yous.
Bye.